What's up everybody, my name is Tanner. Welcome to another video. So this is take number 3 on this video because the first time I did it, I heard myself, and it's one of those moments where you hear yourself speak for the first time. It wasn't my first time hearing myself, but I'm just not used to hearing myself speak, and it's like, I'm surprised I have friends and they put up with hearing this voice. Yeah, I just wasn't happy with how I sounded. Second try happened like 2 minutes ago, and I was talking and I was getting into the first tip, and then my camera shut off because I never pressed the record button. It was just staring at me, so that was great. Third time's a charm. This video is gonna go over different ways that you can use to be more creative yourself. Now, you don't have to be a designer, you don't have to be a YouTuber, you could be a welder, you could be a forklift operator. It doesn't matter really what you are, you're wanting to be more creative. That's why you clicked on this video. And these 5 tips that I have, they're really applicable to anybody in any kind of job, in any kind of position. So we're just gonna get into it. Hopefully my camera doesn't shut off again. Tip number 1, listen to a podcast. That's it, just listen to a podcast. All right, tip number 2, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, listen to a podcast, or you could listen to an interview between like 2 YouTubers, or on a podcast. It's gonna shift your perspective. The reason you want your perspective kind of shifted is because it's gonna get your mind focused on something else, and it's gonna get you thinking about whatever that discussion is about. It's gonna get your mind kind of turned on in a way. Whenever I go to one of my jobs, most of the time I'm listening to a podcast. It's a design podcast, so it's about something that I'm interested in, and it just gets my mind cranking. Like, all the gears are turning, all the cobwebs are coming off, especially when it's 4 in the morning and I'm driving on the highway. That's very important. Pro tip on this one, while you're listening to like a podcast or some kind of discussion, you could be exercising. Exercise is great for your mental health, but it's also great to get those creative juices flowing. But moving right along, tip number 2, brainstorm more ideas than you will need. In my practice, it's been brainstorm at least 50 ideas minimum. The reason for 50 ideas minimum is 1, it's a ton, but 2, you're gonna have at least 49 other ideas for other projects that are creative projects. Let's start with 50, and as you're making this list, if you get to like number 9 or number 16 or number 37, you might think that's the idea, and lights are going off, fireworks are shooting every audio on. Yep, my audio's on. I thought I was gonna have to do take 4. If that does happen to you and you're not even at 50 yet, keep making the rest of the ideas, because chances are you're gonna have another idea. It's either gonna get you just as excited, almost as excited, or even more excited. And you can either combine another idea with that to make another idea. Those are gonna be other ideas that you can do that are creative projects that you can do, in the future after you do this project. I usually bust out 15, no more than 20 ideas really quickly, typically. So it kind of spikes up in creativity, then it goes down. It's kind of like a grind, and then as I get closer to 50, it just increases back up, and I start having more ideas, and I'll typically do around 60 ideas. Do that, and it's a great exercise for you, just to be more creative. Tip number 3, set deadlines for yourself. So you made your 50, 60 ideas, set a deadline for yourself. Now, why set a deadline? It's your own creative project. Deadlines cause stress. You just want to take your time and enjoy it. Deadlines create urgency in ourselves, in our work. So think, when you're at work, there's a sense of urgency going on in the work environment, because whatever work that you do is probably important. There's probably a customer that you have to serve. So there's like, an urgency going on, and that's fine. That's fine. Now, where I don't think it's fine, I don't see this with a lot of other people, but I see some designers out there, they swear up and down they prefer to wait till the last minute, like the weekend before or sometimes the night before some kind of project is due for a client. And the reason that they do this is because they feel like that urgency that's created from waiting till the last minute helps fuel their creativity and their focus, and it just makes it sharper than ever before compared to if they didn't wait till the last minute, they took their time. If that's you, keep doing what you're doing, because if it's getting money in the bank and if your clients are happy, that's the important things. But for a lot of others out there, including myself, I recommend to strategize. Lay out a game plan. Almost multiple highlighters. If it's a project that's going to be due in 4 weeks, you can easily segment your time into quarters. So quarter 1, 2, 3, 4, week 1, 2, 3, 4. Week 1, you could aim to have all your roughs, diagrams just done and completed by the end of that. Have it shared with your client. 2, you could start implementing more steps of your own design process into this. 3, You should almost be done. Just still this whole time communicating back and forth with your client, making sure that they like the direction that the project is going. And then week 4, all your deliverables should be prepared. You should know what you're gonna say, what you're gonna wear that day, and how you're gonna blow away the client with this awesome project that you did not wait till the last minute to do. I remember in high school, there was some nights where I didn't really have any other choice than to start a certain assignment when it was like 1 or 2 days left to do it. It was like a big project. And yeah, I felt that. I felt like that focus, and it was really anxiety, but it was also a sense of urgency. It's fine here and there, but I just don't prefer it. Like that stress, I don't desire that often. All right, number 4. Now this one's kind of interesting. Develop a creative network. The first way is to get to know people. Get to know people who are designers, who are creatives in some way. If they have some kind of creative process that they've shared or implemented, get to know that person, kind of pick their brain and exchange ideas. Increase the amount of tools that you have in your mind for future creative projects. Another way that you can develop a creative network is do what I'm doing right now. I'm starting with Instagram because Instagram is the worst for me. I follow a ton of meme accounts because 1, they're very easy to follow. They are quite literally advertised to me. I like memes. Quite a bit of meme accounts I have to unfollow. I'm also having to follow a lot of gym accounts. But the reason I'm unfollowing these accounts is not because like the content that they post is offensive or anything. It's just because it's not aligned with my career goals. I want to be a very professional designer, creative individual. These are kind of just like a distraction from that goal. Mainly because there's so many of them. Like there's quite a few times I'll go on Instagram and the entire time I will not see anything design related or creative related. Like some of my favorite YouTubers are creative individuals, and I will not see a single post, so I'm having to unfollow them as I see them pop up. Tip number 5, the final one, be resourceful. I told you all this was going to be applicable to a bunch of different people out there. If you're a programmer, carpenter, be resourceful. Not everyone lives or works in an area where as soon as they walk into their studio or to their office, they just breathe creativity in there. Like it is thick. 50 ideas. That doesn't happen for a lot of us. If that happens to you, let me know where you live, because I would love to breathe that air and have all those ideas and creativity just flow through me. You know, sometimes it can be hard to be creative, especially on days where everything feels so dry and so bland. You're just like, ugh. All I see is beige. Like I can't even think of a color. That sounds horrible, by the way. Surround yourself with objects that inspire you in some kind of way or that you find interesting. You're gonna accumulate objects just naturally that are interesting to you. It might be like a little knife. It might be some Lego sets. It might be some books, a rock that you find at the beach. Surround yourself with these objects that are very interesting to you and just spark that creativity, because it's good to have that around you just in case there's a day where everything's beige and not really creative to you. Actually, let me show you something. Alright, so this is a Lego mech that I made for Iron Man. Sword out of here. I made it during my 2nd semester of college, I think. It was my 2nd or 1st semester. I'm out of focus. So Lego's been... Oh no. So Lego's been making mech suits for a lot of the Avengers characters, and I love them. I really think they're designed so well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6. The very first Iron Man mech was my first mech. I bought it, I loved it, I just thought it was fun, and it made me want to get back into Lego. And then Jago was doing, I think they're still doing Lego mech suits, but there was one, it was red, it was kind of interesting. I bought that, and then I thought, you know what, I like my Lego mech Iron Man suit. This Ninjago I'm not too crazy about, I could just combine these. I was playing a bunch of Ghost of Tsushima too at the time, and I really like samurai, just anything, so I thought we're gonna make a samurai suit for Iron Man. And that's really what creativity is. It's taking two objects whose contrast is very strong between each other, and you're combining them into one new thing. Iron Man, Marvel, and I took Ninjago, Samurai, and I combined them, and I now made a sick Lego Iron Man mech suit. I did little details on the back, kept like his blasters on his palm. He's even got the shoulder armor and like the hip armor and thigh armor that a lot of samurai armor sets had. His hat rotates off and his chest piece comes down and it reveals his character. It functions really well, and I'm able to pose him up in different poses, but my favorite one is him just kind of putting his sword into the ground just like making a stance, just imposing like power and authority. I love this one. I really want to do like a lot of other mech suits, I really don't have the time right now. Yeah. That's really what creativity is. Like I said, you're taking two different things that just have no similarities to each other whatsoever, and you're combining them into one new thing. And that is creativity. If you take anything away from this video, take away that. So just to recap real quick, 5 different ways that you can be creative today. Tip number 1, listen to a podcast or some kind of discussional video or information that stimulates your brain. Tip number 2, create way more ideas than you will need for this single project. I recommend at least 50 minimum. Step number 3, set deadlines for yourself. This will create urgency and make you want to finish your work and be creative about it and do it well. Step number 4, develop your own creative network. This could either mean by interacting and meeting new people, or refining your social media accounts like I am right now, and following mostly accounts that are tailored toward your own goals. And finally, step number 5, be resourceful. Not everyone's in the perfect creative environment. I'm not in the perfect creative environment, so I'm making my own. And you can make your own too. Here, let me just kind of, oh man. All right, so it is currently 8:30 right now. The sun is setting, so I need a light solution. I have my window right here, and I have this cheap little LED light shining on my face, because if I turn it off, I look like an evil villain. But if I turn it back on, you can at least see my face. That's how I'm being resourceful in my environment, and that's like a real basic way. So yeah, just make stuff up. That's the video. Hope you liked it. If you found something helpful through this, especially if you made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching this video. You're the real one. I would love it if you click the like button for me. That would just help me out a lot. And if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button, because that's just what this channel is going to be about. Or there might be some like more personal side stuff of me. So yeah, that's the video. Yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.